So let's jump into a story that, on the surface, seems absolutely picture perfect, especially for this time of year. We've got a celebrated hero, a loving family, the whole thing. But what we're really going to dig into is what happens when that perfect world just completely falls apart. I want you to just picture this. A decorated fireman, his amazing family, a whole community that just adores him, all lit up by the holidays. You know, it's the kind of life that feels totally solid, like nothing could ever touch it. But here's the thing, this story isn't really about that perfection. It's about what happens when it's all ripped away in a heartbeat, leaving our hero with a choice that is so difficult, so impossible, it forces him to figure out who he really is. And that's the real question at the heart of this, isn't it? When a guy whose entire job is saving strangers finds himself totally powerless to save his own family, what happens to him then? Who does he become?
Okay, so let's meet our guy, Jack Gilmore. This man is the real deal. A respected fireman, a husband who's crazy about his wife, and an amazing dad. His life, especially around Christmas time, is built on this really simple but powerful foundation of family and community.
And you hear it from him directly. This isn't just something he says, it's everything to him. His wife Mary and their son Bobby, they are his entire world. And that's exactly what's at stake, which makes what's coming next just absolutely brutal.
And then, in a single instant, it all just shatters. They're on their way home from the town's Christmas tree lighting, and one reckless moment on a snowy road becomes this horrifying turning point that changes everything forever.
You can just see it coming, can't you? It's like two trains on the same track. On one side, you've got Mary and her son just filled with that holiday spirit. On the other, there's Chrissy, an 18-year-old orphan, completely distracted by a text. Two different worlds about to collide in the worst way possible.
And this is the moment Jack's world ends. The terrible irony is he shows up to the scene as a first responder, there to do his job, only to see his own wife's car. And as his buddies hold him back, he has to hear those words, the words that just obliterate his reality.
So with his family gone and absolutely no idea who was behind the wheel, Jack he plunges into this deep, dark place. It's like the hero who could save anyone else in the world suddenly can't even begin to save himself.
And this isn't some quick fall from grace, no. It's this awful, slow-motion collapse. First comes the grief, which is just overwhelming. That pushes him to the bottle, which of course leads to a DUI and an arrest. And it's right there, at his absolute lowest point, sentenced to community service, that the story takes another wild turn.
I mean, this is it. This is rock bottom. He's completely shattered, just crying out for any kind of help, any kind of relief from this unbelievable, suffocating pain.
So about that community service, it sends him to a local gym that also kind of works as a shelter. And while he's there, just painting over some graffiti, he meets the person who put it there, a troubled 18-year-old orphan named Chrissy.
Now, at first glance, these two couldn't seem more different. But what neither of them knows yet is that they're connected by this massive, life-altering trauma. They're both survivors, both shaped by this incredible loss, and that creates this invisible bond between them.
And this is where things get really wild. Their connection gets so much deeper when Jack has this lightning bolt realization. Years ago, he was the firefighter who pulled a little girl named Chrissy from the house fire that killed her parents. I mean, can you even imagine? It's unbelievable. And this shared history, it creates a real bond, and he ends up inviting her over.
Okay, so this all builds to the moment the whole story has been leading to. They're at Jack's house, decorating his Christmas tree. There are pictures of his wife and son everywhere, and the weight of it all just becomes too much for Chrissy, and she has to confess.
And that just puts this massive question in the air, right? How do you forgive something that feels, well, unforgivable? When the person who caused your greatest pain is standing right there in front of you, just as broken as you are, what do you do?
And boom, there it is, the confession that connects every single piece of this heartbreaking story. The orphan Jack once saved is also the person who took his family away.
Of course, Jack's first reaction is just pure rage and pain. I mean, who could blame him? He tells her to get out. But then, when the police close in and it's time to make a choice, to press charges or not, he does something almost superhuman. He chooses mercy. He looks at her and sees not a criminal, but a scared kid who made a horrific mistake.
And that one act, that incredible moment of grace,
It changes the entire trajectory of the story. Now, it doesn't erase the tragedy, not at all, but it opens up a door, a path toward actually healing, not just for her, but for him too.
You really see the impact of this in court. Chrissy explains that when Jack forgave her, it gave her something she hadn't felt since her parents died: hope, a reason to keep going. In a very real way, he saved her life for a second time.
And then there's this final scene. It's just beautiful, and it brings everything full circle. Jack gives Chrissy the very gift his son had wrapped for an anonymous orphan before he died, telling her she's worth it. He's honoring his son's spirit and at the same time giving Chrissy a future.
So, at the end of it all, that's the big idea this story leaves you wrestling with. It really makes you ask, can a single act of forgiveness, as hard as it is, be powerful enough to heal more than just one person's broken heart? Can it ripple outward and start to heal everyone involved?